it's Alicia here from We to 3 with another cycle update for you. So in my last video, which was last Sunday, you heard me say and or saw the graphics that I thought that AF arrived last Sunday or arrived on Monday, making Monday CD1. As it turned out, my body was totally faking me out and was lying, and I just continued to spot from Monday until Thursday. So Thursday actually ended up being my true cycle day 1. My cycle ended up starting 8 days post Provera instead of 10. So we're making progress. Hopefully that means that this cycle that I'm currently on now will be a lot more successful, and that everything that the naturopath and I are doing to kind of increase my ability to cycle naturally is working. So yeah, that makes actually today cycle day 4 of cycle number 11. When you're watching this, it'll be cycle day 5 because it'll be Monday. So during my last cycle, I kind of talked already about what I was doing as far as supplements goes, what I've been taking, and then I did a little bit about it after my first naturopath appointment. I figured a good way to start this cycle off would be to do a more cohesive talk about everything I'm doing this cycle in detail. It kind of also just helps me stay on track for this coming cycle as a reminder to myself, these are all the things we planned to do. So I'm going to show you some of the supplements I'm taking and give you the rundown of what I'm taking. I did post an Instagram last Friday night of my evening routine, and I actually got a lot of questions about it, which is actually really the inspiration for this video. I figured it'd be nice to kind of explain the things I'm taking, what they're supposed to be doing, and then at the end of the cycle, I can kind of go back and be like, did that work? Did that work? Did that one work? And it'll be a good jumping off point for my next cycle as well. So I'm gonna pull over all of my supplements. They're all right next to me. I'm gonna start with the Chinese herbs because I've already talked about them before. These are 2 different kinds of Chinese herbs that were prescribed to me by my naturopath. I take 4 of these a day and 4 of these a day. So 2 in the morning and 2 at night, 2 in the morning and 2 at night. And then I'm also taking at nighttime the Nature Made prenatal multivitamin with DHA added. I really wanted to take one that had been tested that I knew was a really good prenatal vitamin. And this was on one of the top of the list for purity and also being a good value because it's a little bit less expensive than other prenatals. So I thought this was a happy medium, and I added this just kind of on my own accord. I mean, it's always recommended to take a prenatal vitamin even if you're just trying to conceive. So this is the one I've been taking. I take 1 of them at night. The other thing that is new on my naturopath side is the myo-inositol supplement. And if you've seen some of my videos before, you know I've mentioned Pregnitude, which is a supplement that I had already been taking. Pregnitude is actually folic acid and myo-inositol together. And when I went to the naturopath this week, I asked her, are there any other things you would have me take that I'm not yet? Because when I ended up going to the naturopath, I stopped taking all of the other supplements that I had been taking in favor of only what she was recommending. So I asked her, what else would you recommend taking, to get me on track with my cycle and everything? And the first thing she said was myo-inositol, which was in the Pregnitude I had already been taking. So I'm adding Pregnitude back into my daily routine. You do 1 in the morning, 1 at night. I actually also have from my naturopath a huge vat of the inositol powder. And when I run out of the Pregnitude, I'm just going to switch right over to the inositol. And this is the Pure Encapsulations inositol powder. And it's 2 scoops in the morning and 2 scoops at night. So I will be starting to take this as soon as this runs out. So I do 1 of these packages at night and 1 in the morning right now. They're really great. You just mix them into water. They taste like nothing. You don't even notice it's there. But either way, she did recommend the myo-inositol. She actually told me that there was a lot of research and evidence that it can be as good for people with PCOS as metformin is. And that she was like, I feel like the pharmaceutical companies don't really want you to know about it. And basically, she just added it as far as if you really want to ovulate on your own and throw all the things we can at it, she was like, this is what we should add. So that's the addition of that. The only thing else that I am taking this cycle that also is recommended by my naturopath, and I don't know if this will be the same for everyone, but I live in Portland, Oregon, and it is rainy a lot. Even if it's not raining, it's overcast a lot of the time. We've had a beautiful spring so far, but truly, I mean, it's almost, I think like studies show that every single person that lives in the Northwest is totally vitamin D deficient. So one of the things she recommended is vitamin D. This is actually liquid vitamin D with like a little dropper. It's still the Pure Encapsulations brand, and one drop of this contains 250% of your daily value of vitamin D. So this should probably get me back on track as far as like probably my vitamin D deficiency. I haven't been tested for it, but I can guarantee you that I have one. Just because almost every single person that gets tested that lives in the Northwest has a vitamin D deficiency. So we added this onto it. I'm not quite sure the connection between vitamin D and fertility. I'm guessing it's a big one. Sunshine and vitamin D are kind of important. So we've added it in. We'll see what it does. So far, this gives me actually like so much energy in the mornings. It's crazy. I do a drop of this actually with the Pregnitude, like in the same glass of water. And like 30 minutes after I've taken it, I'm like, and I'm awake and I feel great, like wired. So I don't know if that's like just a placebo effect or if it really does that, but oh man, it's a big game changer as far as my energy level goes. And that is my supplement plan. So the vitamin D I take in the morning, the myo-inositol I take morning and night, the prenatal vitamin I only take at night, and then the Chinese herbs get taken morning and night. So you can see I have a huge like regimen of supplements and vitamins and herbs. I didn't really necessarily mean for it to get that out of control, but like I've told you before, I love supplements, so I'm kind of like, let's do all the things, and I'm just going with it because I don't mind taking them, and if they end up helping, then more power to them, more praise to them. Those are my plan for the supplement portion of this cycle. The other plan for this cycle is to temp and chart as I usually do. Since AF is kind of wrapping up, I'll probably start temping tomorrow morning, so Monday. And I think that I'm just going to do that this cycle. I'm not sure yet how I feel about OPKs. I do have Wandfo OPKs, which are just like dippable strips. And then I also have a clear blue digital OPK package that I have not like initiated yet. I'm just not sure how I feel about OPK charting this month. I think while I would love to get pregnant this month, it's not like at the top of my list right now. The top of my list right now is to certainly get my cycle back to normal. So the goal is basically to ovulate. Like whether or not we and like fertilize that ovulation, like I only really care right now about ovulating on my own, getting that back. I care about that, and I care about losing weight right now. I mean, not to say we wouldn't accept a baby whenever, because Lord knows that we want one so bad that we would take it whenever he gave it to us. But right now, the focus of this cycle for me is like making sure my body is back on track. So, I mean, we're still trying, but I'm just not sure how often I will be using OPKs. I may or may not use like one or two around when I think ovulation is occurring, just to see if I get a positive show up on the test, because I think that would help me for the next month to like track things. Otherwise, like we're just going about it kind of the natural way. We'll probably do a lot of baby dancing within my fertile week. We will be traveling during my fertile week this month, so I'm not really sure how that's gonna work out. It may be just like a month where we don't time it right and things just go awry, which happens a lot when I ovulate. Actually, the last couple times I've actually ovulated have been terrible timing, which does not surprise me for this month also being terrible timing. So we'll see. Mostly this month our goal is like, is my cycle back? Is it normal? And that's kind of like my ongoing goal, but I would love for that to happen first before we got pregnant. I did have my acupuncture / naturopath appointment on Friday, which is when I got the vitamin D and myo-inositol prescribed to me by my naturopath. During my acupuncture appointment this time, it was still really relaxing and awesome, but it was really funny. This time I noticed the needles a lot more than I had at the previous session. Like when they went into my hands especially, and then the ones on my ankles, I think my acupuncturist called it chakra shock. Like it made me feel like I had a Charlie horse in my hands and in my feet really bad. And I couldn't like move as much as I could during my first session. I mean, my first session I could like readjust and like lay in different ways that made me feel comfortable. In this one, I was kind of like statue-y because I didn't want to move my hands or my feet because they hurt when you move them. So that was interesting. This is only my second time having acupuncture, so I'm not familiar with any of that, but that was really surprising, especially because that's not how my first session went. The other fun thing that we did this session is she put a little heating lamp over the needles that were in my like stomach, kind of like around my womb area, and she called it my womb warmer. Like she called it my little womb lamp. So she gave me like a little heating lamp over my tummy, and that was amazing. That was my favorite part of this last week's session at the acupuncturist. Both because I find it humorous and because it was actually really pleasant. It's just like a little, felt like, you know, like a reptile getting warm on a rock, like sunshine. It was just warming my body. And that was fun. The other thing that my acupuncturist said, slash naturopath, they're the same person, is that she will actually be gone the week of my fertile week this month. And I'm not sure yet how I feel about that. So I'll be essentially missing an acupuncture session during my fertile week. And there is actually a massage therapist attached to the same naturopathy practice that does fertility massage. And you're like intended to get your fertility massage either right before your fertile window or during it. And I think maybe when I go back next week to talk to my doctor, I think I might ask her about it for the week that she's gone. I don't know if that's like going way overboard, but it kind of feels like if I'm going to the naturopath, I want to at least be doing something during my fertile week this month. Like, it's my first month there. I just kind of want to like get my feet wet with all of the offerings. So I might ask her about that. I might chicken out. I don't know. I really want one, just because I also just like massages. Who doesn't? That sounds amazing. But I don't know. I don't know if I'll chicken out on it. I have like social anxiety, so I might just be like, I don't want to ask. I don't want to ask her that question. And I don't want to insult her by being like, well, I'm done with this fertility acupuncture. Like, let's go on to massage. Totally not it. I just felt like since she's gone, maybe it's like a nice alternative. So we'll see. Maybe I'll work up the courage to ask her about it. Or, I don't know. Maybe. I want it really bad. I just am scared to ask. The only other plan I have for this cycle is to wait until day 35 of this cycle to see if my cycle starts on its own. Last cycle, I did start the Primavera really early because I could tell that it was anovulatory. This month, even if it's showing to be anovulatory in my chart, I think I'm just gonna wait till day 35 to see if it like kicks in. I want to do that just to like really make sure that I'm not missing anything essentially, and that like really giving the naturopathy time to work on my body before I introduce a synthetic hormone to it like Primavera. Exactly 1 month from today is day 35 of this cycle. And I guess that's how I feel about it. I mean, I just feel like this cycle, I want to give it a chance to work on its own. I'm not really sure if I will be like doing a live pregnancy test or anything this cycle. We'll kind of see how I'm feeling. If it's for sure anovulatory, then you will not be expecting a live pregnancy test. And I'll say that during my like cycle updates if I think it's anovulatory. If it's looking like I did ovulate, I will probably test as early as I'm addicted to taking pregnancy tests. I don't know how early I would take one. It kind of depends on if I ovulate, how early I ovulate. So I will probably plan to, if I ovulate, we'll do a live pregnancy test on my channel. And that's it. That's all for my cycle update this week. I mean, it was kind of long just because of talking about my supplements, but next week's probably will be really short since it's still going to be today's day 4, so day 11. So I mean, I might have some updates about what my temperatures are doing that day, which would be great. I could show you my chart, but otherwise next week should be pretty quick. I would love some positive energy for this cycle since it's so early in it, like just to blitz my body with prayer and happy thoughts that it will be ovulatory. I'm so ready to have another ovulatory cycle. It's been since November that I've even had one. I'm so desperate for the opportunity to make sure my body is actually ovulating. I'm not desperate enough to take Clomid yet, but I'm getting there. I'm starting to get like super impatient. Or maybe I'm just having an impatient day. We don't know. Thank you guys so much again for like all your support. I've had a lot of people give me some recommendations for things they do with their PCOS and how they get their body back to manage it. I've especially had a lot of new followers on Instagram, which has been awesome. If you don't know, I do share a lot on my Instagram account and my Tumblr blog, and both are linked below if you want to see them. I put up a lot of updates and things that aren't on my channel during the week, so you can always find me there and find more information about like how today is going. So keep liking the videos, keep commenting, letting me know like tips and tricks for you, where you're all at with your cycles. I would love to have a cycle buddy this time. That would be really nice. I don't have a lot of people that are on the same schedule I am. I think that's kind of like an impossibility when you have PCOS. It's really hard to find people that are on the same cycles as you. And subscribe below for sure if you haven't. I put out new cycle updates and or trying to conceive videos every Monday, and you can find me there. And my playlist is actually all up to date with the current story so far. If you've missed anything, you can find it on our channel under the Trying to Conceive playlist. And that's it for today. Bye guys!